Luke, back in the bunker for some more titting about with We Need to Talk About ... It's been a funny old time. The last time we were in here, we were doing the Phantom, if you remember that.
I do, yeah. All those years ago, pre this whole unpleasantness and what have you.
Approximately 47 years ago.
Something along those lines.
And since then, we've been looking at classic Doctor Who with a bit of a detour to look at The Miz and Paige in the WWE Studios film.
Can you not remind? Don't remind me about that one.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't remind me about that one.
But we're back in the bunker, we've cleaned up the human remains, we've had the place thoroughly scrubbed and disinfected,
yes.
And as this is now in time for a Halloween special, we're going to return back to something from our childhood that was basically part of school. It was when the teacher would roll in a big trolley with a TV on, you think, oh, television time. And it ended up becoming something that absolutely frightened the shit out of us.
As pretty much anything we did or watched when we were younger, it scared us straight. As we just said, so for this year's holiday special, we wanted to focus on something sort of scary from both of our childhoods. And seeing as we've done 3 episodes already on scary public information films from the 1970s and the 1980s, we've probably scraped that particular barrel dry. So instead, we're going to be taking a look at something that we very, very briefly touched on during our look at the Finishing Line and Robbie. So we're going to look at BBC Schools education programmes, specifically Look and Read, and specifically Dark Towers.
Come with me, yes, come with me to Dark Towers. Who can tell what we shall see in Dark Towers?
Dark Towers was a short series that was told as part of the BBC Schools Look and Read television programme. Look and Read would have a number of fictional stories that would be presented in a serial format, usually about 10 short episodes. Along the way, there would be songs and activities to help improve children's skills in reading and spelling. Other stories included The Boy from Space and Geordie Racer Man, which anyone of a certain generation listening to this has probably already started singing the theme tune for.
Indeed, but just in case you needed a reminder, here it is.
Flying free, flying high, flashing wings across the sky. Geordie Racer, on the road, in the street, hear the sound of pounding feet. Geordie Racer.
Dark Towers would become one of the most popular stories throughout Look and Read's broadcasting history. It was originally shown in the autumn of 1981 and was repeated numerous times throughout the 1980s, 83, 85, 87 I think it was. It even got repeated throughout sort of the 2000s during the summer of 2003, something along those lines. It was actually last on, not too long ago actually, 2007, ensuring that a whole new generation was scared shitless into learning their spellings. So without further ado, let us get to the plot.
So, episode 1, Dark Towers in Danger, opens with a girl, Tracy Brown, and her dog, Towser, going for a peaceful walk in the countryside together. Tracy is described as a bit of a loner in the opening narration, and she thinks that boys are daft and girls are daft. She also thinks that football and dolls are daft as well. So you get the impression that she doesn't have a right lot of patience for, well, pretty much anything.
After Towser runs off by himself, Tracy enters an overgrown garden of a strange old house called Dark Towers. Whilst looking for her dog, Tracy meets Edward Dark, the young lord of the house, who isn't used to visitors. He, at first, orders Tracy to remove herself from the premises, but as they talk, Edward reveals that he likes books better than people, so at least they have something in common.
Why do you talk like a book?
I read a lot of books. I like books better than people.
Ah, like me and dogs.
Yes, cracking bit of acting there. You can just feel that smouldering sexual chemistry just bursting off the screen, can't you?
Yeah, anyway. Even though Tracy thinks that Edward is, and I quote, crackers, she still accepts his help to look for Towser.
This boy is crackers. Crackers. Must be. Crackers or not, he can run.
Their search leads them into Dark Towers itself, but as the two of them enter the house, Tracy is startled by the sight of a huge armoured knight shouting, "Look out!
Look out!
Hello, my name's Wordy, and you're all my word watchers. It's good to see you all.
Phew! But then Wordy pops up to give us the educational bit of the programme. Wordy lives in a school library, in the bin of the school library to be more precise, and with the help of the librarian Jenny Jackson, children would learn how to read and spell some of the words that were used in the story so far. Now, as a kid, you were probably grateful to see Wordy's familiar face as they break up from the scary moments. Although, to be honest, Wordy is pretty scary himself. He kind of looks like a Henry Hoover that's been bashed in with a keyboard.
Yeah, and it can float.
And he can float.
He just floats around.
And he has human hands as well.
Yeah, and a really, really rather squeaky, high-pitched voice.
So he's a little bit creepy, but to be honest, I'd rather take him over Nosy Bonk.
Well, yeah. Oh.
Which is the stuff of nightmares, as Nosy Bonk would stare deeply into your soul before tearing off your skin and eating it. Watching this as a child, it's like you'd be grateful that Wordy pops in and breaks up the scary bits, but watching this as an adult, you really want him to bugger off and stop interrupting the flow of the story.
You do, actually, and it was probably at this point where the teacher would be because what would happen is BBC Schools would show Look and Read, or what else we had, Zigzag or Watch or whatever. And
words and pictures.
Words and pictures, yeah. Top to bottom, up and over.
That's the one.
That's the one. How to write using words and pictures. But there would have been educational packs, and there would have been teachers' notes and what have you, and would have worksheets and what have you, which at this point in time will be handed out, and you will be doing the worksheet as you were listening and watching the wording sections.
That's it, yeah.
And what we used to do, in our school when we were growing up, as a class we were watching this. So in between the sort of the drama bits and what have you, there would be they would put the story up on the screen. It would be white background,
very much like
that, and then the words, the story would appear on the screen at the time. And we as a class would read it.
Read the words.
Read it all together, and then we'll move on to the next sort of bit of the story and what have you. So yeah, it was one of those things.
It was making education fun.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, education is fun.
Although looking back now,
or at least that's what I tell my children.
Well, we have had to do homeschooling only too recently.
Well, this is very, very true. Yes.
I do sort of feel for some of the teachers, because I was sort of sorely tempted at some point during homeschooling just to whack this programme on, and it's like, right, there you go, that's 20 minutes, half an hour where you do your own thing. Looking back now, it was probably quite lazy teaching on the part of the teachers. I mean,
massively.
I don't think they do anything like this now. Which
no, they don't. No. So take it from one who knows. They don't.
Which is a shame, really. There'd be a number of educational songs involving, there was Magic E.
Magic E, Build a Brickie.
Build a Brickie, that's right. And these were all to sort of help you build words, like Magic E would show you, right, if you add an E to this word, then kit would become kite, bit would become bite, etc.
Yeah. Build a Brickie would take sort of a word like look, and then you had the word look on a brick, and then you would have ED on a brick, and they would put together, and it would be looked.
There was also the giant and the tiny little pop lady that encouraged you to think big at the beginning.
And at the end of a sentence, full stop.
There's a lollipop lady, yes.
Lollipop lady in the first one. These things stick with you. They do stick with you. And yeah.
And just to sort of continue with the ghostly theme as well, we had some educational songs and activity sheets involving 3 more ghosts: ghastly, ghostly and ghoulish, who would pop in and and do various songs and education and what have you. And I can remember actually vividly having an activity sheet in front of me, and I was just spent all my time colouring in ghastly, ghostly and ghoulish, when I should have been doing the work itself, you know.
Obviously, you know.
Obviously that's worked out really well for me as that. Look, I could get in between the lines and everything.
Nice one. So, back to the story.
Yeah, we better get out to the story.
It turns out that the person actually telling them to look out is actually Edward's dad, and that the tall knight in question is just a sculpture that he's working on. Lord Dark informs Tracy and us, the viewers, of the tall knight of Dark Towers and the ghosts that are rumoured to still roam around the grounds.
This man used to live here, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. The tall knight of Dark Towers. Some people say they've seen his ghost walk around the walls.
Now, I'll be honest with you here. If our younger audiences are probably thinking the same thing, yes, that is how haircuts used to look in the 80s, and that is how we used to dress, like big chunky jumpers and big sort of floofy hair. In fact, Lord Dark's hair is a big ginger.
He's well preferred.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how my hair was in first school. So yeah, that was fun. So Tracy dismisses Lord Dark as another person that is crackers. All these crackers everywhere. Good thing that the attic contains plenty of cheese then. Having said that, the idea of the ghost of a tall dark knight walking through the walls is quite a scary one when you're a little nipper at first school that sat cross-legged on the floor, looking up at the telly and trying hard not to fart nervously in front of all your classmates.
Speaking from experience, then, mate?
Yes.
Anyway, Tracy eventually finds Towser barking at a picture on the wall, and the picture comes to life and cries out that Dark Towers is in danger and that Tracy is the only one that can save the house, but Edward and his father do not hear this voice. These special effects might look old-fashioned now, but back when this was first shown, a wobbly painting, a spooky voice, it left quite a scary impression on your school children.
What is it? It's in that picture?
Why is it so cold, Father?
Look! Look at the picture!
So, moving on to episode 2, The Man in the Picture. We get another educational bit at the start of the programme. Word cards are displayed for the audience to read. We learn how to spell the words, probably learn something, and then get right back to cacking our pants. This was we were just talking about this just prior to recording. This is probably just a Yorkshire thing, me coming from a Yorkshire school, but we would have like little word cards that we could sort of use to sort of learn and to read and spell the words. And we kept them, bizarrely, in an old Golden Virginia tobacco tin.
Which probably was owned by one of the teachers, maybe even
Well, they just had a cupboard full of these old Golden Virginia tobacco tins, and they just go, right, there you go, that's a tin to keep your words in. And we're just like, what? Now, in some cases, they would be washed out so they won't smell so bad, but there would be the occasional one that still stunk of tobacco, which meant that your word cards would smell of tobacco as well. Is that not something that happened?
I think we did have word cards, but I don't think they were kept in old packy tins.
And it's not just my school. I've talked to other people that went to school in Yorkshire. It's like, oh yeah, we had Golden Virginia tobacco tins as well, and no one's quite sure why. Yeah.
No one's twigged why.
Edward, Tracy, and Towser looked round the old house. Dark, dust, cobwebs. Old pictures, old books, old swords.
Yes, we get the idea. Everything is old and dusty and a bit strange. Whilst exploring the house, Tracy and Edward encounter these two dodgy types, Benja and Bunce, one of whom is played by Christopher Biggins, a very young Christopher Biggins. They claim that they work for the local museum of long ago and are visiting Dark Towers because it's a place of historical interest. But in fact, they are a couple of con artists that are just looking to see what treasures they can steal from the house. Luke, where have you gone?
Let me know when the bad man has gone away.
As you probably gathered, these are the villains of the piece. The fact that Towser growls at Biggins should be a bit of a giveaway, really. However, it will take some of the other characters a while to realise this. Luke, are you coming back?
Has he gone?
He's gone, yes.
Right. Sorry about that.
Terribly unprofessional.
Are we sure he's not growling because Edward put that stupid bloody hat on him?
Well, I think so, because Towser does come across as a really friendly dog. I mean, he's like, and any time he kind of barks or growls, it's clearly been dubbed on. I mean, in fact, at one point, I think when Christopher Biggins tries to stroke him, he actually goes to lick his hands. So it's the complete opposite of growling. Do you want to explain what the thing is with you and Christopher Biggins?
It's basically based on this because right. Let's just get this out now quickly. Before I get some sort of legal notice, cease and desist or whatever it is. Christopher Biggins is an absolute national treasure and he is a beautiful, beautiful human being, both inside and out. However, when I first saw this, I was severely, severely freaked out by Benjamin Buns and the villains of this. And whenever I see Christopher Biggins on screen, first of all, I go, oh, it's Christopher Biggins. And I thought, shit, Benjamin Buns. And I'm 7 years old again, and I'm thinking, oh shit. And this is where my kind of like my joking fear and hatred, well, no, not hatred, distrust of Christopher Biggins comes from. He's a really, really good actor. If you have a look at the things that Christopher Biggins has been in over the years, I mean, everything from this. One of the kind of like the regular guests in Porridge.
Porridge, yes,
yeah.
Yes.
He was, he pops up in the Rocky Horror Picture Show as well. I think it was actually part of the original cast.
He does pop up in a lot of pantomimes as well.
Yes, brilliantly sent up.
Yeah, yeah. Which I then tend to take a WhatsApp picture of and send it to you. Oh, look, have you seen who's performing?
when they said that up, it wasn't the League. Psychoville. He sent that up in Psychoville with. He was in that for all of the series, and playing not his usual character of the Dame, but obviously of the Dashing Prince or something along those lines. Yeah. But yeah, he was in Psychoville and was really, really good at it and well up for the laugh. So, not that there were that many laughs in Psychoville, to be fair.
Anyway, let's move back onto the storyline. So, our heroes, they don't even twig on that Benjamin Buns might be a little bit dodgy when the badly applied sticker on Benjamin Buns' van comes off, revealing a different sign altogether. Then they are led by Towser, the extremely helpful dog, to the big red bedroom with a large 4-poster bed and bed sheets that seem to be moving by themselves. Whoa!
It's the man in the picture.
Fear not, I am a friendly ghost.
Really? You don't look too much like Casper to me. And exactly how friendly can you get when you're scaring the crap out of people by making your portrait wobble? Still, Towser isn't growling at him, and he's actually wagging his tail. So the dog is actually a better judge of character than our two heroes.
Which isn't saying much, let's be honest.
Not really.
And from there we move on to episode 3, The Old Legend. Now, I know it seems like these episodes are moving along at a fair old pace. If you have it with all the educational stuff together, each episode is about 20 minutes to half an hour. But if you strip all the educational stuff down and just have Dark Towers itself, and it is on YouTube if you want to watch it, either in full or in these segments, it's only about 10 minutes long each episode.
Yeah.
But the pacing of these actually make them seem a lot longer. For example, when Tracy and Edward go up a tower, you literally see them taking every single step until they get there. Nothing like padding out the running time of the episode then.
And to be fair, not an awful lot occurs in this episode, other than the ominously named friendly ghost in the bed explaining that the tall knight has haunted Dark Towers for hundreds of years, looking for his treasure. Now, but he cannot enter the house to look for it, and the ghost in the bed can't leave the bedroom to look for it either. So it's up to Tracy and Edward to find the treasure, save Dark Towers and help the ghosts to finally rest in peace, because that poor old bugger in the bed hasn't seen a decent night's sleep in over 300 years.
Faced with this huge responsibility, what do our heroes do?
They laugh.
Good to see that they're taking this seriously then.
Beware of two bees buzzing together. Beware of the bird with the brown feather. The house will be saved by the tall knight's treasure.
But what does all that mean?
I do not know.
Meanwhile, Benjamin Bunce noticed that the sticker on their van has been tampered with, before we get the introduction of another new character, the vaguely foreign Miss Hawke. I mean, I'd say vaguely foreign because she keeps forgetting to do the half attempt of what may or may not be a foreign accent.
I heard a story about a treasure. Treasure in a book.
I say, treasure in a book. You've been reading fairy stories again.
All the same, I think I'll take a look.
Back in the red bedroom, the friendly ghost can't sustain his powers for long and disappears. Then we hear footsteps on the stairs outside, and the door begins creeping open in a spooky way as the episode comes to an end. Ooh!
Of course, it's all for nothing, as in episode 4, the clue in the book. It turns out that it was just Miss Hawke coming into the bedroom.
Miss Hawke. Funny name. Sounds like a bird.
Yes, you might want to pay attention to that name, Tracy.
Miss Hawke offers to help Tracy and Edward look for the treasure in the old library, where they carefully sound out words that you would have thought should be well beneath their reading level.
From there, they work out the clue that tells them to go where old wheels went round, whilst Tracy declares something is crackers. Again.
It's crackers.
I begin to think that she's got a secret advertising deal with Jacobs.
Well, wants to talk, we had a secret advertising deal with Sugar Puffs last time round. If you haven't got the twist, and it will take Tracy another couple of episodes to figure this out, Miss Hawke is another one of the dodgy fraudsters alongside Biggins and his sidekick. The two of them then decide to choose the events of episode 5, the old coach house, to discuss their devilish plan rather loudly and in explicit detail, and within earshot of anybody who just happens to be walking through the grounds of the house. Subtlety is not their forte.
Two bees buzzing together.
No.
No.
Nothing worth stealing, my dear old Bunce. We have all the best stuff. Tomorrow, we can put it in the big van and then set the house on fire.
Why do that? I like this old house. Why set it on fire?
So that people will think that the old chairs and pictures are in the fire and not in our van, my dear old Bunce. Come on, we're wasting time here.
Blimey, sod the ghosts. Biggins is the scariest character in this entire story. Not content with robbing you blind, he's also an arsonist. Look, will you please come out from under the table?
No, I'm fine here. It's safe.
Unfortunately, Benjamin and Bunce discover that Tracy has been listening to their conversation, maybe because she decided to eavesdrop in plain sight. She's literally right there.
Oh dear, oh dear. We'd better go and see Lord Dark.
I'll tell him what you said.
So, episode 6, The Tall Knight's Folly. Perhaps realising that they should have kept their voices down in the previous episode, Biggins and co try to pin the blame on Tracy for some of the valuables that are going missing.
Tell me, did you come here to steal things?
No, I didn't. I was just looking for my dog, you know that.
Make her turn out her pockets.
I never saw that before.
You can hardly expect us all to believe that, young lady.
What's the matter, Father?
Wait outside, Edward. You won't be speaking to Tracy again. Go on. I'll explain later. Now, I'm not going to do anything this time, but please don't come here again. I thought you were going to be a new friend for Edward. Now I find you're a thief. If I see you here again, I'll have to phone the police.
Lord Dark is fooled by the ruse, and Tracy is ordered to leave Dark Towers, leaving Edward on his own to solve the mystery.
And because Edward is bloody clueless about Tracy, when he finds the same torn piece of paper in the old coach house that Tracy found, Edward has to go back to see if the friendly ghost can help him. And they quickly learn that Benja and Bunce were the two bees buzzing together that he warned them about several episodes ago.
Reading the clue, Edward and the ghost come to the conclusion that the next clue, think of a knight so tall, haunting the end of a wall, is at the tall knight's folly at the end of the old wall. Edward goes there and has a face-to-face confrontation with the horror that is the tall knight, who makes his grand entrance and becomes the source of so many nightmares for schoolchildren. Funnily enough, the tall knight is played by Chewbacca himself, Peter Mayhew.
And do you know what? It wasn't scary as Chewbacca. It was a big, lovely, cuddly bear type thing.
Yes.
As this tall knight, he is the source of so many young children's nightmares.
Dear Lord, yes.
And he doesn't do it right. Like, he just stands there, holding a flag in one hand and a sword in the other. Doesn't move, doesn't do it right.
No.
Like, maybe waves the flag a little bit.
Maybe brandishes a sword away
But,
there
yeah,
as well.
but that's all he needs to do.
All he needs
and
to
he's
do.
utterly terrifying. I mean, sod Darth Vader. So, providing that moment hasn't scared you too much, and bear in mind we would have like these episodes shown like week by week. It would be you know, during the week. It's like, right, roll the telly into the even to the school hall or the classroom. It's like, right, time for this week's episode. So provided that, you know, the events of episode 6 hasn't led you to, you know, get your mum to write you a note, can David please be excused from television lessons?
What is the reason for David's absence? He's scared shitless by Christopher Biggins.
And the tall knight.
But also Biggins.
But also Biggins. So again, provided that moment hasn't scared you off too much, we come on to episode 7, The Dark Tree, where Edward asks the tall knight for his help, despite looking like he's got a turd lodged in his underpants.
Where are the girl and the dog?
They had to go. My father sent them away.
They must be here. It says so in the old legend. I cannot help unless the girl and the dog are here.
But the knight says he can't help unless Tracy and Towser are there, because the old legend involves a boy, a girl, and a dog, and then he vanishes. Yeah, a bit precise that.
So, luckily, even though Tracy was ordered to leave Dark Towers indefinitely, she and Towser haven't gone too far at all. They're just still hanging out around the grounds, you know. I mean, you know, she was told, if you don't bugger off, I'm going to call the police. So the two of them meet up with Edward again after Towser has another light bulb moment and drags Tracy back to the Folly. I mean, seriously, you need to get a stronger lead for that dog, love.
Finally confronted by the unstoppable force of 2 teenagers and a dog, the tall knight appears again and gives them another riddle, where he instructs them to go to the old library and a gold key you will see inside the inside of the dark tree.
Crackers.
Yes, we get it, Tracy.
While trying to crack the tall knight's riddle, Edward realises that he meant the dark family tree, and they find the key and a final clue, which falls out of the spine of the book. The clue reads, the knight's treasure will rest inside the inside of a studied chest.
Got that so far? Good. So, on to episode 8, Beware of the Bird, where Edward asks his father if they have a studded chest, and he says that there is one in the old tower, which Miss Hawk overhears. Edward looks at the picture of the friendly ghost, and the ghost repeats his warning, beware of the bird with the brown feather, adding, the hawk that hunts treasure.
Beware of the bird with the brown feather, the hawk to hunt treasure, the hawk to hunt treasure! Beware! Beware!
Edward now knows that Miss Hawk is the bird with the brown feather and rushes off to find Tracy.
Yeah, we realised that about 4 episodes ago, mate. Sorry. Of course, it would have helped if the friendly ghost had dropped that second clue a little bit earlier.
They head up to the old tower, opening the chest with the key that came with the last clue, only to find that the chest is empty. Then suddenly, Biggins arrives!
Just a moment, my dear. Well, well, well. It's our little thief again.
Thief yourself.
Luke, come back! Come back! No! Benjamin Bunce arrived with Miss Hawke, kidnapping Tracy and putting her in the back of the van, whilst Miss Hawke takes Edward somewhere quiet, like the red bedroom? It's getting a little bit dodgy, is this? He's a bit young for you, love.
This is getting not good. Anyway, moving on. Bunce drives off with Tracy in the van, which, to be fair, is even worse when you think about it.
Yeah. Let's throw in a bit of child abduction in there while we're at it.
Yeah. But the tall knight comes to her rescue and absolutely frightens the crap out of Bunce and of anyone who's still watching this as the episode comes to an end.
We quickly pick up the proceedings in episode 9, Who Can Help?, as Bunce abandons his own van and legs it back to Dark Towers as fast as his legs can carry him.
Meanwhile, Miss Hawke is about to have her own spooky encounter in the red bedroom where she's keeping Edward.
Well, I've never heard it called that before.
Will you just stop? I mean, seriously. Despite at first promising that the Golden Book of the Tall Knight, I've never heard it called that before either, will be kept in a museum for everyone to enjoy, it soon becomes clear that years of research into the book have turned Miss Hawke's mild interest into a rather unhealthy obsession.
All my life I've been reading about the Tall Knight. No one knows as much about the legend as I do. I must have that book. I'll do anything to get it.
You said you wanted it for a museum.
Yes, a museum. But that's what I meant.
I don't believe you.
After realising that Miss Hawke just wants the Golden Book of the Tall Knight all for herself, and will even double-cross her own associates to get it, the friendly ghost appears, and Miss Hawke runs from their bedroom screaming. Towser finds Tracy in the now-abandoned van, and the two of them head back to Dark Towers, where Miss Hawke bumped into Benjamin Bunce again.
Oh dear, it's ghost stories now, is it? Makes a change from fairies.
Don't you dare laugh at me!
Hey, look out, you make it!
As they fight amongst themselves, the baddies all discover the Golden Book of the Tall Knight hidden inside the lid of the studied chest. Realising that the book is about to be stolen, the friendly ghost tries to overcome his fear of the Tall Knight and summons him for help, which then nicely leads us on to episode 10, The Last Laugh. Well, we've made it this far. I hope you've learned something at this point at least.
I've learned not to take my dog for a walk around creepy country cottages, or that you still harbour a fear of a Christopher Biggins years later.
It's a fair point, really, but you know.
In fact, weren't you telling me a story where you worked at a Virgin Megastore once and Christopher Biggins came in to do a signing?
No, he wasn't in the signing. I think it was at Leeds Grant or something like that. And he came in with friends and what have you, and I was on the shop floor, and I just looked up, and he's a while away. He's not next door to me or anything like that. I just basically saw him in the distance and thought, oh shit, that's Christopher Biggins, and I just basically ran off the shop floor.
And how old were you at the time?
When I was working at Megastore, 28.
28. See what you've done to him, Biggins. See what you've done to him.
Anyways, as darkness falls, Tracy arrives back at Dark Towers and tries to convince Lord Dark that she is innocent.
Please listen to me. You've got it wrong, honest. I'm not a thief. The house is in danger. You've got to phone the police.
Why should I believe you?
Benjamin Bunce and Miss Hawke are going to take your things and set fire to the house. I heard them talking about it. The house is really in danger. Oh, please, you must phone the police.
All right.
That didn't take long, did it?
Meanwhile, Miss Hawke snatches the Golden Book and makes a run for it, as all of Dark Towers is plunged into darkness, and the sound of the Tall Knight's laughter ring throughout the grounds. Benjamin Bunce, realising that they've been double-crossed, chase after her.
He's coming! The Tall Knight's coming!
I don't like this at all. What was that? How should I know? Oh dear. I wish I was back.
Tracy, Towser, Edward and Lord Dark emerge from Dark Towers to confront the escaping baddies, just in time for everybody to witness the arrival of the Tall Knight.
The knight scares the bad guys absolutely witless. So witless in fact that they actually run towards the Tall Knight rather than in the opposite direction.
Clearly such a frightening experience has left them completely crackers.
Don't you bloody start.
The police arrive to have a delirious Benja Bunt and Miss Hawke taken away and arrested. Tracy gives Lord Dark the golden book of the Tall Knight, and Dark Towers is finally safe. The Tall Knight has vanished, but throughout the house, the sounds of laughter can be heard.
For the Tall Knight had vanished again. But all round the house there were strange sounds, like laughter. The ghosts of Dark Towers were having the last laugh.
Somewhere, the ghosts of Dark Towers are having the last laugh. And Andrew Davies, the writer of this whole thing, is probably realising that he's just given entire generations of school kids sleepless nights. The bastard.
And again, we were made to watch this at school. I mean, seriously.
So we get on to that part of the programme, and it's been a while since we've done this because we've not been sat together, but we say, what have we watched here?
We have watched the stuff of night. I don't think we can downplay the importance of not just looking at it, but schools programmes.
Absolutely.
In general, because all the way through the 80s, I mean, we've done Looking Read here. We've mentioned Watch, we've mentioned Zigzag, we've mentioned Word and Pictures. Those are the ones on BBC Two. There's a few other ones on Channel 4, although not more well known than the BBC stuff. But this was a staple of, if you were growing up in the 1980s, and probably into the 1990s, because Look and Read sort of continued on into the 1990s. We might get to that bit in a minute. This was basically one of the things you did at school.
It was, yeah. The teacher would record it on a VHS tape and would bring it into school and play it. I mean, normally...
Well, if you were lucky it was VHS. If you were lucky it was VHS, because it might have been Betamax.
It might have been Betamax, yeah. And of course you'd have had the teacher might have spent a bit of time at the start sorting out the tracking,
Yeah.
Remember tracking?
Yeah, it'll be on a massive, great big VHS player, like a Ferguson video style or something like that.
Yeah.
That's basically weighing a ton.
Takes two of the teachers to sort of bring it
carry it through. But it's just one of these things that I said to you sort of previously before we were came in for film. I just watched all of these. I just mainlined them. We've just been working from home and what have you, and I just had this on in the back. I had Look and Read playing on YouTube in the background, and it was just. It still stands up today. Yes, it's still scary. Yes, all the Biggins stuff. It's all a bit of fun, but it just made me feel really, really nice.
Yeah, you had a good feeling inside.
The people that were working on this was absolutely super. You mentioned the last bit you said that Andrew Davies sort of wrote this.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what else Andrew Davies is responsible for?
Well, I might do, but why don't you tell the rest of the audience? I think that they may be surprised.
Andrew Davies is the one that did that adaptation of Pride and Prejudice.
Amazing.
He also did House of Cards, the original House of Cards trilogy on BBC House of Cards, Played the King and the Final Cut, I think it was. He's the one that did that. I mean, this is somebody starting off on children's TV and then going on to doing other stuff. I mean,
and he wouldn't be the only one. Like the chap that directed The Finishing Line, then went on to direct a little film that you may have heard about, The Long Good Friday.
Ooh, that's a good film.
So, and again, you sort of see like people like Christopher Biggins getting his first start. Like Peter Mayhew would have been Chewbacca already at this point. So in between being Chewbacca, he was said, "Here, mate, get this tinfoil on.
Get this tinfoil.
And go stand over there."
And it's tinfoil, by the way. Yeah. I don't know any of the other cast there. Juliet Hammond, I do recognise.
Juliet Hammond as Miss Hawke, yes.
I do recognise her from other things. I think she was in Secret Army, which was 1970s set in Nazi-occupied Belgium, which centred around a cafe, some escaped airmen and some Gestapo.
Oh, René!
And to be fair, Secret Army is really, really good. It's really, really good. However, I first saw Secret Army after I'd seen Alone Alone.
Oh, okay.
And I'm watching Secret Army and I'm thinking, this is really, really familiar. Where's the paintings and everything? And to be fair, as I say, it's wonderful. It is wonderful. They did a sequel to it based on with the on a Nazi hunter now. But it's actually really, really good.
Did you go for a ride in his little tank?
So, yeah, is there room for me? If you sit on my knee, I take a bus. Yeah, so she's popped up in other bits and pieces as well. The only other name I recognise is Gary Russell. Prior to doing Dark Towers, he was a child actor, but prior to doing Dark Towers, he was in the ITV in the late 70s with an adaptation of The Famous Five.
Oh,
so he was
the Edith Blyton stories.
Yeah,
yes.
so kind of like there was an adaptation of the ITV put on ITV Children's TV in the late 1970s. But I know Gary Russell because for about 4 years in the early to mid 90s, he was the editor-in-chief of Doctor Who magazine.
Nice. See, it all comes back to Doctor Who, doesn't it?
All comes back to Doctor Who. He's worked on the actual programme himself. He was the first script editor when he came back. He script edited Torchwood and Sarah Jane's Adventures. He wrote some books and what have you. But he's also now, I think, he worked for Big Finish, and he's heading up the division of Big Finish that handles the animation of the lost episodes.
Oh right, yes, because we've seen a lot of Patrick Troughton episodes get animated.
Yeah.
We're getting a William Hartnell one now.
Galaxy 4.
Galaxy 4, yeah, that's it. Wow.
The only other person that I know of is Denise Coffey, who played Jenny Jackson in the Wordy sections and what have you. Now she was in children's TV, but in the 1960s she was in a programme, an ITV children's TV programme called Do Not Adjust Your Set.
I guess I've heard of that one, yeah.
Now, Do Not Adjust Your Set is incredibly, incredibly famous. Even though it's probably people don't realise it, it is very, very important. Because not only was Denise Coffey part of the cast of that, so was a young aspiring actor called David Jensen.
Oh yes, you may have heard of him. Yes.
Don't know what he's done recently. There was another couple, 2 or 3 performers straight out of university. Michael Palin, Eric Idle and Terry Jones. Don't know what they've done. And there was animated sections during the programme as well by a young American called Terry Gilliam. Again,
wow,
don't know what he's done recently either. And this was a children's TV programme.
Be interesting if some of these people then got together and went off to do other things, really, isn't it?
It would be actually, because there was another programme on at the same time called At Last the 1948 Show. And there was another couple of people on there that I don't know, what was his name? Something Cleese.
Cleese?
John Cleese.
Oh, right.
He was on that. And another Graham something or other. Oh. Chapman, that's it, Chapman. And from that and that, you get Python.
So it just goes to show that, you know, the people that you see hosting programmes on CBBCs and children's ITV and Milkshake on Channel 5, well, probably not Milkshake on Channel 5.
No, definitely not Milkshake on Channel 5.
Will perhaps go on at some point to do other things. You know, become perhaps comedy legends, film acting legends, or in the case, I might just end up stacking shelves in a Tesco somewhere.
Yeah, probably like the last that played Tracy.
Yes. She seems a little bit old to be Edward's friend. It's like Lord Dart's going, oh, I thought you'd be a friend for Edward. It's like she's a bit old for.
To be fair, she does look a lot older.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. I mean, the big chunky jumper doesn't help. I mean, we had jumpers like that in the 80s, usually ones that your gran made.
Yeah.
But she had like a loose idea.
Hand knitted.
Yeah, and she had a loose idea of what the human anatomy was like, you know. So it'd be this big baggy thing that you'd wear. And she had no idea how to do cuffs, so the cuff would always be like...
The cuff would just be loose.
It'd be frayed and what have you. And you see a couple of times when they sort of turn around and walk away, I think both Edward and Tracy have got holes rubbed in the elbows of the jumpers, which is why elbow patches were invented, folks.
Oh, everybody needs a good elbow patch. If only there was a shop that sold just elbow patches.
Hello. Right, excuse me. Look where we are. We're back in the Parkside Tavern. It does feel like it's a proper episode of We Need to Talk About once again. And although I've enjoyed covering Doctor Who and things like that, and I'm sure we'll return to that at some point,
oh, yes.
There's nothing like doing an episode of We Need to Talk About in the way that we've done it before.
Yes, and doing something a bit different.
Yes.
We've never done sort of Look and Read. It does sort of harken back to kind of like the public information films that we were doing sort of last year before.
So that's the Halloween special done.
Yes.
So next up will be the Christmas special, and it'll be finally the season 3 finale. Now, anyone who subscribes to the channel at the moment will notice that there's been a lot of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe related content that's been going on there, and I've been quite chuffed with the number of views that it's ended up getting. So therefore...
you're not thinking of...
Yes. Next episode, but we need to talk about ... It will be the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special. It's a strange old tale featuring children abducted from Earth. It's got mermaids, it's got Satan,
please. Thank you.
And it's got...
Sorry, Doctor, it's got mermaids and it's got...
Satan.
Satan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the main reason why we're reviewing it is because of this.
There they are! Get the tractor beam ready!
Oh my god, it looks like a huge...
Pecker!
Oh, where?
Wait, that's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's...
Privates! We have reports of an unidentified flying object! It is a long, smooth shaft, complete with 2 balls!
What is that? That looks just like an enormous...
Wang! Pay attention.
I was distracted by that enormous flying...
Willie? Yeah. What's that?
Well, it looks like a giant... Johnson! Yes, sir. Get on the horn to British intelligence and let them know about this.
Yeah. Hordak flying around in a helicopter.
Yes. We're basing this around one joke and one joke only.
Yes. The whole Austin Powers thing.
Yeah. Sophisticated comedy, everybody.
Oh, yes.
It's not dead. It's alive and well and living with us.
It's
not
just
literally living.
It's just not very funny, unless you've got a really juvenile sense of humour like us.
It's a good job that we've got a juvenile sense of humour.
It is, which is just as well.
Oh, dear me. But yes, how wonderful this has been to actually do in a proper, quote-unquote, episode of We Need to Talk About. We've done what we needed to do to keep things going.
Yep.
We've met up when we can, when sort of all of the various rules, etc., have allowed us to do.
Tried to do intros and outros and things like that.
Thank you for your patience. We probably haven't done as much as we probably would have wanted to do over these past couple of years, so in a bit and what have you. So thank you for your patience.
I mean, musicians talk about that difficult third album.
This has been the difficult third album.
Yeah, this has been the difficult third season.
Yeah, definitely. But then again, it's been sort of interrupted by a global pandemic.
Yeah, so you can forgive us for that. Yeah.
Please forgive us for that. I mean, there's a few other things that you shouldn't forgive us for. I mean, Godfrey Ho movies. That's shouldn't forgive us for that.
Godfrey Ho and Bruceploitation and
yes.
Yeah, and our unhealthy obsession with Zardos.
Zardos. That's not unhealthy. It's not an unhealthy obsession with Zardos. It's perfectly fine. Please leave a comment. One of the things that I think the both of us have done during this whole lockdown-y business and what have you, I certainly have done. I've actually went back and had a read of all of the sort of comments and what have you from previous episodes, all the way back to Zardos. Wow, people are actually watching this.
You like us,
foremost, which is really weird to me.
You like us. You really like us.
But also leaving comments, which is absolutely lovely and superb. So thank you very much. There were some really nice comments over sort of the Dalek movies that we've just done, which was really, really nice to see. Thank you very much.
We take the time
somebody
to...
really, really like my Stephen Toast t-shirt.
Yes,
which
yes.
was nice, actually. Cloud City 7 is the people that do sort of most of the t-shirts that I sort of wear.
You just want to get a free plug?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, just going to Amazon, put in Cloud City 7, and you'll see them. They've done
Sponsor us.
Yeah, please. They've done my Starbucks t-shirt, which is
Cloud
nice.
City 7, and for me, QWERTY, get in touch, sponsor us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just on the subject of sponsorship and what have you, we haven't forgotten you, Arrow.
Yes. We don't mind being corporate sellout whores.
No, we really don't.
Just allow us to be corporate sellout whores. You know, give us money and DVDs and beer. You know, we'll be happy with that, and t-shirts. We'll be happy with that.
Well, I'll be happy with t-shirts to go.
Yes. Anyway, I think that's enough of our inane drivel. Thank you very much for listening to us for the last half an hour, 40 minutes, however long this video ends up being. And we'll catch you again for the next episode at Christmas time. Yes, where we will take a look at the He-Man and She-Man Christmas special.
You bastard.
And oh dear Lord.
Seriously. First wrestling related Christmas movies, and now this.
Okay. I mean, last time we mentioned the Miz and Santa's Little Helper. He has done another Christmas movie, you know, Christmas Bounty. Would you rather cover that?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
He-Man and She-Man.
He-Man and She-Man it is. Right. Right, on that bombshell, we bid you adieu. Thank you very much for stopping by the Big Daddy D Reviews channel, and we'll catch you again next time.
Bye now. Oh, I finished mine.